Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Kabir Considers. In this video, I'm going to react to how bad was Tim Tebow actually. I vaguely remember Tim Tebow. This was like, maybe 2015, 2016, something like that. I remember there was talk of like a football player. I think he was a quarterback who would like get on the field and he would do this thing where he'd go on his knee and put his hand there, like something like that. Yeah, I think it was called Tebowing. A lot of talk. I think he was really popular at that time, but I've not heard of him since. Has he fizzled out? Has he stopped playing? Has he gone into something else? So yeah, I just wanted to find out, what happened to him. And this video here, how bad was he, would indicate he didn't do too great. So this should be an interesting video to watch. So let's do it.
If we graded athletes off their celebrity, there's no doubt that Tim Tebow would be an A-lister. In football, there's only a few names even in his stratosphere. The crazy thing is that most of those names, Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes, OBJ, Derrick Henry, they are superstar players. Tim Tebow? Not so much. That didn't stop the world from going crazy for his last run in the NFL. So let's get to the bottom of it. How bad was Tim Tebow actually?
Yeah, he looks like he was
Tebow
a
had a
quarterback.
one-of-a-kind upbringing. His parents were missionaries and actually lived in the Philippines. There, his mother became pregnant and was diagnosed with amoebic dysentery and fell into a coma at almost the exact same time.
Oh my
With
God.
the lack of technology in the Philippines and the bleak, dire situation his mother was in, doctors recommended that they decide not to have the child.
Oh my God. What a horrible choice.
That went against the Tebows' religious beliefs, so they refused, and Timothy Richard Tebow was born in Manila, Philippines. The Tebows continued their mission for the first 3 years of Tim's life before they moved to Jacksonville, Florida. Tebow began his high school football career actually as a tight end for Trinity Christian Academy in Jacksonville. After his freshman year, the Tebows moved to the small town next to Jacksonville, Ponte Vedra Beach. Because he was homeschooled, Tebow was allowed to go to any high school in the county, ending up at Nice High School. Nice was awful at football. Tebow recounts his sophomore year, where they were the other team's homecoming game for every single away game.
Wow.
Looking for a chance to prove he was a game-breaking QB, Tebow still went. Behind Tebow's incredible dual-threat ability, Nice made an immediate turnaround during his junior season.
So was he still playing a tight end at this point, or had he been converted to quarterback? No, he had.
They went 11-2, including a legendary game where Tebow willed his team to a huge win on a broken fibula. For his incredible play, he was named Mr. Florida in 2004. In 2005, he turned it up even more. Nice dominated opponents on the way to the school's only state championship.
So he
Tebow
actually played
repeated
well.
as Mr. Football in Florida. Tebow followed in his parents' footsteps, where he enrolled at the University of Florida and became an immediate fan favorite of Gator Nation. As a freshman, he was Urban Meyer's secret weapon in short yardage. His first legendary moment came against the 9th-ranked LSU Tigers. On the goal line, Tebow faked like he was going to run it into the end zone before pulling up for a jump pass to the tight end for the huge score. Tim Tebow would do all the scoring that day, throwing for another pass and running one in, to make sure the Gators would beat LSU for the first time in 3 seasons.
So he actually was a good player, like a great player at this level.
He would score 13 times as a freshman, helping UF become the 2006 national champions. In 2007, Tebow went from fan favorite to national phenom. His unstoppable play, behind the ability to ground and pound the defense before airing it out right over their head, broke numerous SEC and NCAA records. To this day, Tebow is the only player to pass and run for 20 touchdowns in a single season. But it wasn't like he was 20-20. It was more like 32 passing touchdowns and 23 rushing. If you're keeping score at home, that's 55 total touchdowns in one season, over 4 a game. That mark is still the all-time SEC record.
So what happened, Tim? What happened? Everything's looking so good right now.
And the chances of it getting broken anytime soon are slim to none. The unprecedented play led to an unprecedented accolade, the first sophomore ever to win the Heisman Trophy. After an upset loss to Ole Miss in early 2008, Tebow gave the promise. In what would later be transcribed under his statue at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, Tebow promised that he was going to do everything he could, try as hard as he could, that nobody would outwork the Gators from then on. The iconic moment inspired the Gators as they won their remaining 10 games.
Wow.
4 against ranked opponents. Tebow would dominate and lead UF to its second national title game in 3 seasons.
I feel like this video should be renamed How Good Was Tim Tebow, because we're almost halfway and it doesn't sound like he looks like a great player to me.
Where they defeated Oklahoma. He came through on his promise. Despite everything he faced as a senior, from a respiratory illness to a concussion to losing numerous teammates to injury, Tebow didn't miss a game and set the all-time SEC rushing touchdown record as a senior. He caught flack when he was seen crying on the sidelines of UF's SEC championship loss to the Crimson Tide, but he finished his college career breaking the ball.
Why did he catch flack for that? Shows that he cares. Man, people can be so weird. Like, the guy's showing passion, you know, and you get him for that?
Full game offensive record with 533 yards against University of Cincinnati. Then, all the controversy starts. Some head coaches around the NFL felt he should be a top 10 pick. Some felt he was undraftable. Mel Kiper blasted the table, saying he could never be an NFL QB. He lacked the intangibles to survive the pro game and should switch to tight end instead. As a hometown favorite for his devout Christian faith and his place in UF lore, people demanded that the Jacksonville Jaguars select Tebow to fix their attendance issues. His name became a sticking point. You either loved him or you hated him. You had to pick a side. Some thought there was no way he could fail. Others felt there was no way he could succeed. Despite the fatal flaws throwing the ball, Josh McDaniels and the Denver Broncos took a huge...
Was he not accurate? Or was he not... Did he not have a cannon for an arm? Like, what was the weakness in his arm?
...risk late in the first round in the 2010 NFL Draft, taking Tim Tebow with their 25th overall pick. They literally had no plan for him, but Tebow immediately became the highest-selling jersey in the NFL, a testament to the huge draw and polarizing figure he had become. It would take until nearly the end of the season before Tebow made his first career start. The Broncos' season was basically dead, and they wanted to see what they had in their first-round investment. What they had was an inaccurate fullback at quarterback. He was the most unconventional passer the game's ever seen, with a wonky motion and no ability to read coverages, and a desire to take off and try to truck guys who were now bigger and stronger than him. Despite that, Denver got desperate after a 1-3 start to the next season. When Kyle Orton wasn't getting the job done and the mounting pressure came from the fan base, the Broncos scrapped their entire offense in favor of Tim Tebow. They were going to build around his strengths and try and hide his deficiencies. It was ugly. But somehow a phenomenon known as Tebow time was born. The offense wouldn't do anything for 3 quarters, falling behind to a double-digit deficit before Tebow would somehow, some way, will his team back in the game. The first glimpse was against the Chargers, where Tebow scored 2 late touchdowns to bring them within a score before the Chargers won. That would be the blueprint for every week after. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs with Tebow throwing only 8 times, completing a whopping 2 of them for 69 yards and a touchdown.
2?
He couldn't complete passes, but the Broncos...
To be honest, you can't really be a quarterback if you can't throw the ball. Like, that's the most important thing, isn't it? Like, being able to pass accurately.
were winning behind their stingy defense and clutch QB. They played the New York Jets on Thursday Night Football, and Tebow time went prime time. Down 13-10 with 6 to go, Tebow put Denver on his back, willing them down the field before a massive 20-yard touchdown run sealed the comeback with less than a minute left. He was the talk of the world. Less than a week later, he would do it again. Like clockwork, the Broncos would need a huge offensive play late, and Tebow came through. He led them to an overtime victory, a 3rd straight comeback win. Against the Bears, Tebow had us starting to believe in miracles. They were down 10-0 with 2 minutes remaining in the game when Tebow led them on back-to-back scoring drives to...
I mean, damn, man. Talk about clutch. I mean, yeah, he can't throw the ball and that's really bad, but if he's getting wins, if he's putting W's on the board, That's all you can ask for.
Force overtime, where he bullied Chicago down the field for the game-winning kick. Just as it blew up, it seemed Tebow Time's 15 minutes of fame was coming to an end.
Oh dear.
He was awful to finish the season. The Broncos lost their final 3 games, and Tebow threw more pick sixes than he did touchdowns.
Oh dear.
But Denver lucked into the playoffs when the Raiders blew their chance in the final week after a loss. Tebow ended 2011 by breaking a record you never want to break: the least accurate quarterback of all time.
Oh,
His
no.
46% completion rate made him the first QB
46?
to ever start 10 games and complete less than half of his throws.
Oh, that sucks.
In those starts, he completed half his passes only 4 times. Despite all that, Tebow time wasn't over yet. The Broncos came in the underdogs to the Pittsburgh Steelers in the wild card round. Nobody gave them a chance. What they didn't know was Tebow was about to throw for his first and only 300-yard passing game. Big plays came in bunches. Tebow completed just 10 of his 21 passes, but they went for an average of 31.6.
Why did he insist on becoming a quarterback? Why didn't he play tight end? I mean, he could have put on a bit of size. You know, he would have been fine maybe as a decent tight end. He would have had a decent career. Like, as opposed to now, I don't think he's even in the NFL, is he?
Yards of completion. It would be his 10th pass on the first play of overtime that would be the biggest. 80 yards away, Tebow threw a strike over the middle to Demaryius Thomas, who broke a tackle and scampered all the way to history. Tebow led Denver from 1-3 to the second round of the playoffs. Bill Belichick's Patriots grounded them quickly, demolishing Denver 45-10 the next week, with Tebow completing a disgusting 34% of it.
Oh, 1 in 3? That's 1 in 3. Oh, that's terrible. Or as Charles Barkley would say, that's terrible.
His passes. With Peyton Manning in tow the next season, the Broncos couldn't wait to get rid of Tim Tebow. They swiftly traded him to the New York Jets, and the circus came with him to the Big Apple. Tebow brought little to the Jets on the field and created nothing but controversy off. The fan base didn't believe in Mark Sanchez and wanted some Tebow time of their own, but they never got it. Tebow played more special teams than he did quarterback, throwing just 8 passes and not scoring a single time. The Jets cut him right after the season. He would get one last shot at NFL QB when the Patriots signed him. Unfortunately, Tebow just wasn't a very good quarterback, plain and simple. He blew in 2 preseason games, completing 4 of 12 in the first game and backing it up by making that performance look great. A 1 for 7, -1 yards, 1 interception showing. With a passer rating of a 0, that should have been it for him. But we love some Tebow. He would get another shot with the Eagles, where he, you guessed it, just kind of sucked.
I don't get it. Does he not practice throwing at all? Because it's pretty clear your weakness is your throwing. I'd be spending every hour of the day practicing. Didn't he care?
And because we love Tebow so much, he got another shot after being away from football for 6 years.
No way.
This time, he gave up his NFL quarterback dreams to play tight end for his hometown Jags.
Thank goodness.
The problem is, he was 34 and never played tight end.
Oh, no.
Unsurprisingly, he was dreadful at the position. It took just one viral meme attempted a block for the Jags to unceremoniously cut Tebow.
No.
Look, Tim Tebow is among the greatest college football players of all time. He's a great role model no matter where you sit on his bandwagon. Unfortunately, Tim Tebow is also the most inaccurate NFL quarterback of all time. So, how bad was Tim Tebow actually? Bad. Like, really bad.
Oh my goodness.
But in the reality TV show that is the NFL, Tebow time made for one hell of an episode.
Wow. He got so many chances, man. So many opportunities to turn it around. I just don't think he put enough effort into improving his passing. Because how does your passing stay that bad? How? You know, surely if you spent, I don't care, if you spent 3 months where every day you are throwing for 6 hours, you're doing all types of throwing drills, you will improve. I don't care what anybody says. If you spend 3 solid months doing that, you will improve. And then do that for more time and more time. Why did he stay so bad? Really, really good question. I just, what a sad story, because role model wise, he was great. You know, I'm sure he was a really sort of clean individual, didn't do anything controversial, you know, just a clean guy. Yeah, it's a real shame. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.